Dark silence filled the edge of the galaxy. Only the cold light of distant stars moved in the endless black. On the border of the Galactic Empire, the outer scan Station 12 floated quietly like a lonely metal seed. It was an old station, weak and forgotten, but today it felt something the galaxy had not felt for hundreds of years. Inside the station, Officer Rilan watched the holoscreen with tired eyes. He worked here for 10 long years and never saw anything interesting. Space was usually empty, calm, and slow. But tonight, a strange shimmer of blue light touched the scanner for the first time. Rilan sat up straight. A signal was coming. A huge one. Admiral Vexer must see this, Rilan whispered, his voice shaking. He turned up the sensor range and the screen filled with rising numbers. Energy spikes. Warp distortion. Unknown origin. The scanner suddenly screamed an alert. Warning. Massive warp breach detected. Rilan's heartbeat became loud in his ears. No, this can't be real. Nothing this big exists. He quickly pressed the emergency line. Command, this is Scan Station 12. We detect an incoming warp signature. It is too large. Maybe a glitch. The voice from command replied, confused. Too large? Send us full data. Rilan sent the numbers. He waited. 10 seconds later command called back, but this time the voice was shaking. Officer Rilan, these readings are impossible. Stay on all channels. We are alerting the Empire. Before Rilan could reply, the lights in the station flickered. The metal walls trembled softly like something huge was moving in the dark space outside. And then, the signal grew 10 times larger. Rilan's eyes widened in fear. No ship can make a warp entrance this big. No fleet either. What is this? The Empire's central AI confirmed the new reading. Entity approaching. Estimated mass. Unknown. The scanner screen became white with static for a moment, and then it cleared. A shadow appeared on the long-range view. A giant shape. A structure. A fleet. But not any fleet the Empire knew. Rilan whispered, "Who are you?" The Empire reacts. Across the galaxy, alarms echoed in hundreds of military centers. Officers ran through hallways. Screens flashed red. The Imperial Senate received the full report from Station 12. Admiral Vexer, famous for never showing fear, stared at the numbers with cold disbelief. "This is not natural," he said quietly. "This is not an asteroid. This is not a cosmic storm. This is someone coming." Senators argued loudly. What species can make this warp energy? Is it an attack? It could be a new empire. Should we send peace signals? Vexer raised his hand. Silence followed. "We first confirm what this is," he ordered. "Send scout ships. Highest speed." 5 fast scout cruisers jumped to the border zone. Only one returned. The returning ship was damaged, burning, and half-melted. It drifted into an Imperial dock. An emergency crews rushed to pull the dying captain out. His armor was cracked, his face covered in ash, but he forced himself to speak before losing consciousness. "Not aliens," he whispered. Everyone leaned closer. The captain raised his trembling hand. "They are humans." The room froze. No one moved. Humans. A name forgotten in the galaxy. A species pushed out long ago. Weak, broken, lost. The Empire believed humans vanished forever. But now, they were back. The captain used his final breath. "And they are angry." His hand fell. A long alarm echoed across the room. Humanity's grand arrival. Back at the border, the massive warp breach finally opened fully. The darkness of space cracked like glass, and a colossal ship emerged. A human ship, the largest ever seen by any living species. The metal surface was black and silver, covered in glowing lines like veins of white fire. Gigantic engines pulsed with energy never recorded in Empire history. Behind the flagship, more ships appeared, hundreds, maybe thousands. They formed a wall of steel and power stretching across the stars. Rilan on Station 12 felt his legs go weak. This must be a dream. The flagship turned, scanning the Empire territory like a predator looking at prey. Blue light swept across the station. Rylan felt his chest tighten as the energy passed through the walls. Empire sensors across the galaxy caught the signal and nearly broke under the power. Every scientist, every commander, every senator stared at the data with pale faces. Admiral Vexer clenched his fist. How did humans build something like this? They were weak. They were nothing. But the truth was now clear. Humanity had evolved. Humanity had rebuilt. Humanity had returned with technology far beyond the Empire. The flagship opened a communication channel for a moment. No words, only a cold, sharp message. We remember. Then the channel closed. Station 12 shut down completely. Lights died. Systems fell silent. Rylan realized the humans did not fire a shot. They wanted the Empire to feel fear first. He looked out at the giant human fleet filling the sky and whispered to himself, "Why have you come back?" But in his heart he already knew. This was not a visit. This was not a warning. This was the beginning of something far bigger. Something the Empire might not survive. The news of humanity's return spread through the Galactic Empire like a fire in dry grass. Every world, every station, every military base heard the same message. Humans have returned, and they come with a fleet stronger than anything we know. Fear grew everywhere. On wealthy core planets, people locked their homes and stayed inside. On border colonies, citizens looked up at the night sky, worried the human fleet would appear above them next. And in the Imperial Senate, powerful leaders argued louder than ever. Inside the great Senate chamber, holograms of senators filled the air. Red lights flashed around the hall, showing that the Empire was now officially in a state of highest alert. One senator shouted, "This must be a mistake. Humans cannot make such power." Another replied angrily, "The scout ship captain died telling us the truth. Do you call a dying man a liar?" The arguments grew stronger, but Admiral Vexer stood still in the center, quiet and cold like a stone mountain. His dark armor reflected the red warning lights. "We must focus," Vexer said at last. "The human fleet has not attacked yet, but they are not answering our messages. We must prepare for war." More shouts came. "We should talk to them. They came to destroy us." "No, maybe they want peace. What if this is revenge?" Vexer raised his hand, and again the chamber fell silent. He spoke slowly. "Humans were weak when we last saw them. They had simple ships, simple weapons. They begged for mercy." He paused. "But now, look at what they bring. Look at that flagship. They did not come to bow. They came to judge." His words sent a cold wave through the Senate. The Empire tests humanity's intent. The Empire decided to send another message, this time from the Emperor himself. A large signal tower powered up on the capital planet. Blue energy collected at the top, and the Emperor's voice echoed into deep space. "This is Emperor Thaler of the Galactic Empire. Humanity, we request peace talks. We request answers. State your purpose." The message left the galaxy like a beam of light. Everyone waited. Seconds passed. Minutes passed. 30 minutes passed. Nothing. No reply. Instead, Imperial long-range scanners detected movement. Human ships were spreading. They were not staying at the border. They were moving toward the Empire, system by system, silent and steady like a dark storm. Vexer sent fast alert reports to all fleets. "Prepare defenses. The humans are advancing." Outposts fall without warning. 3 small Imperial outposts stood between the border and the first large colony. They were not strong bases, just small stations with a few ships. The Empire expected them to be destroyed. But something more frightening happened. They simply went silent. No explosions. No distress calls. No signals. One moment they showed normal life. The next moment, complete blackout. As if the humans turned off their power with one command. The Empire sent search teams to the first outpost. They found something terrifying. The station was empty. No bodies. No broken walls. No signs of violence. Every person was gone. A captain whispered, "Did the humans erase them?" Another soldier replied with shaking hands, "Or took them. We don't know which is worse." Before they could search further, scanners detected a large human ship entering the system. The Imperial captain panicked. All teams retreat. We cannot fight that thing. The search ships escaped just in time. The human ship did not chase, simply watched, and let them go. This confused the Empire even more. Growing fear in the civilian worlds. Back on the capital, citizens protested outside government buildings. Why have humans returned? What did the Empire do to them? Will they destroy us? Soldiers tried to control the crowds. Children cried. Shops closed. Rumors spread like invisible smoke. Some said humans were monsters now. Some said humans were angels seeking justice. And some whispered that the Empire hid terrible secrets about the past. Every world demanded answers, but the Empire had none. Admiral Vexer prepares for war. Inside the Imperial War Room, a giant hologram of the galaxy rotated in the air. The human fleet was shown as a large glowing red wave moving closer to Imperial space. Vexer studied the map with tight jaw and cold eyes. Human fleet speed, far higher than our cruisers, he muttered. Weapon energy, unknown. Shield strength, unknown. Strategy, unknown. Everything was unknown. He hated that. His second-in-command, Captain Lyra, stepped forward. Admiral, should we gather the Grand Fleet? Vexer nodded slowly. Yes, call every ship, every soldier, every gun. Humanity wants a fight. We will show them the Empire still has teeth. Captain Lyra saluted. At once. But even as she left, Vexer whispered to himself. This war will not be easy. Human fleet makes first move. Hours later, the first human communication finally arrived. One short message. One calm voice. A woman's voice. Strong. Cold. Final. Galactic Empire. Justice comes. Prepare yourselves. Then silence. No explanation. No negotiation. Only promise. Vexer felt something he had not felt in 20 years of service. Fear. He turned toward the galaxy hologram and watched the human fleet crawling closer like a dark tide. This is only the beginning, he said. And he was right, because humanity was not here to talk. They were here to finish what started centuries ago. The human message echoed across every channel in the Empire. Justice comes. Those two words hit harder than any weapon. People felt something old, something buried, rising again. The Empire tried to calm the galaxy, but no one listened. Every world watched the skies, waiting for the human fleet to appear above them. Inside the Imperial War Room, Admiral Vexer stood like a dark statue, staring at the floating map of the galaxy. Red markers showed the human fleet spreading across the border systems. Captain Lyra stepped beside him. Admiral, we still have no reply to our peace request. Vexer's eyes were cold. They do not want peace. They want something else. Something they think we owe them. Lyra hesitated before speaking. Sir, do you think this is about the old human conflict? Vexer did not answer. He simply turned away. Calm human voice. Hours later, the Empire finally received a second human signal, this time a direct call. A hologram flickered to life in the center of the war room. A human woman appeared. Tall, calm, with silver armor glowing softly. Her eyes looked strong, sharp, and tired, like someone who carried centuries of pain. She said, I am Commander Eric Hale of the Human Restoration Fleet. Every officer in the room leaned forward. Vexer stepped toward the hologram. You arrive without warning. You send threats. You invade our borders. Explain yourself. Eric did not blink. Explanation? She said softly. You want to know why we returned? She paused. Very well. You will learn the truth. The hologram changed. A long timeline appeared behind her. Stars, ships, and maps the Empire had never seen. The forgotten past. Eric's voice grew stronger. Centuries ago, humans lived on many worlds. Small, yes. Weak compared to you, but hopeful. We built slowly. We planned for the future. Images appeared of early human colonies. Peaceful, simple, full of life. But the Galactic Empire feared us. she continued. You feared our numbers. You feared our unity. You feared that one day humans might challenge your power. Vexor frowned. This is nonsense, he said. There is no record. Eric cut him off. There is no record because you destroyed the records. The room fell silent. The hologram showed Imperial warships attacking human colonies. Burning homes, crashing fleets, wiping out entire settlements. Young humans screaming. Fires spreading. Planets falling. This, impossible, Captain Lyra whispered. But Eric continued. We begged for mercy. You gave none. You wanted to erase us. And you almost succeeded. The hologram showed the last human fleets fleeing into deep space, chased by Empire destroyers. Eric's voice lowered. But we survived. And in the darkness we rebuilt. We united. We learned. And we prepared. Centuries of rebuilding. The hologram switched to images of gigantic shipyards in unknown star systems. Human scientists working with glowing alien technology. Engines larger than cities. Soldiers training. Children growing stronger. Eric spoke proudly. We built new worlds. We discovered new energy. We forged alliances. We became more than you ever feared. Her face hardened. And all this time we remembered. Vexor clenched his fist. So you return for revenge? Eric shook her head. No, Admiral. Not revenge. Her voice became colder. Justice. For every colony you burned. For every human child killed. For every lie you buried in your history. The Empire begins to crack. The senators watching the broadcast from their chambers felt the weight of her words. Some looked pale. Some angry. Some guilty. One senator whispered, Is this true? Did the Empire hide this? Another replied shakily, If even half is true, then humans have every right to come back. But Vexor refused to bend. Human commander, he growled. You expect us to believe these stories? Fabricated pictures and... Eric raised a hand, silencing him. What you believe doesn't matter. What happened, happened. And now the galaxy will see. Her hologram zoomed out to show the massive human fleet again, lined up like a metal wall across the stars. The human ultimatum. Eric finally delivered her message. Galactic Empire, you destroyed our past, but you will not destroy our future. You have one choice. The hologram flashed with her final words. Step down, or be removed. The signal ended. Only silence remained. Captain Lyra turned to Vexor. What do we do now? Vexor answered without hesitation. We fight. His voice was firm, but inside he felt something icy spreading through his chest. Something he had never felt in his entire career. Doubt. Humanity moves forward. Outside in deep space, the human fleet changed formation. Thousands of ships unlocked their weapons. Energy fields lit up like blue fire. Giant cannons charged. Commander Eric stood on her flagship bridge, eyes unblinking as she watched the Empire's border on her screen. Begin Phase 1, she ordered. Human ships jumped into multiple systems at once. The war had officially begun, and the first battle was coming soon. Very soon. The galaxy held its breath. Human ships spread across the border like sharp blades of light. Every scanner in the Empire went red. Every alarm screamed. Every soldier realized the same truth. The war had finally begun. On the capital planet, huge hologram screens showed the growing human advance. Civilians watched with wide, scared eyes. Some prayed. Some cried. Some whispered that maybe humans were right. Maybe the Empire had lied for centuries. But one thing was certain. The humans were coming fast. Admiral Vexor forms the defense line. Inside the Imperial War Room, Admiral Vexor moved with the cold focus of a predator. His long black cape dragged behind him as he stepped to the center table. Display human advancement, he ordered. A huge star map appeared. Red dots, human ships, moved like fire across the border. 3 Imperial systems were already silent. No signals. No resistance. Nothing. Captain Lyra frowned. Sir, we must stop them before they reach the colonies. We will, Vexor growled. Bring the Grand Fleet. The room hummed as thousands of Imperial ships activated across the galaxy. Heavy cruisers, destroyers, battle carriers, dreadnoughts powered by ancient core reactors. The Empire's greatest strength was numbers, and Vexor used all of them. "Form a defense wall at the Helion sector," he commanded. "That is where we make our stand." The two fleets meet. At the Helion sector, space twisted with energy as the Empire's enormous fleet arrived. Thousands of ships formed a thick barrier of steel and fire. Imperial soldiers cheered. "We are strong. We have the numbers. We will crush them." But the cheering stopped when the humans arrived. A ripple of blue light tore through space. And then, they appeared. A human fleet so large that it covered an entire side of the star system. Their black and silver ships glowed with strange white energy. Their engines hummed with a deep, powerful sound that vibrated across the void. The Imperial captains stared in fear. One whispered, "Their fleet is bigger than ours." Another replied, "Not just bigger, stronger." At the center of the human formation was the giant flagship, the Revenant, a ship the size of a small moon. Admiral Vexor stepped to the window of his command ship. "So, this is the power of a species we once called weak." His jaw tightened. "Prepare weapons. The battle begins." Human Commander Eric Hale stood at the front of her bridge, eyes cold and focused. "Enemy fleet in position," her officer reported. "They are charging cannon lines." "Let them," Eric said. The Empire fired first. A storm of laser beams, plasma bursts, and heavy torpedoes launched from thousands of Imperial ships. The night sky exploded with red fire as the Empire unleashed all its power. Captain Lyra watched the visuals. "Direct hit," she said. "We hit their vanguard ships." But then her voice broke. The explosions faded. The human ships were still there, untouched. They were glowing with white energy, an unknown shield that absorbed everything like water hitting stone. Vexor's eyes widened. "What is that technology?" "Human counterattack." On the human flagship, Eric gave a simple command. "Fire." Human ships launched weapons the Empire had never seen. Bright spears of blue energy shot forward, bending and twisting like living lightning. When they hit Imperial ships, something terrifying happened. The ships did not explode. They collapsed. Metal folded inward like paper. Engines died. Power vanished. Imperial ships drifted lifeless into the dark. Captain Lyra gasped. "Our shields mean nothing to them, and their weapons break our ships without even touching them." Vexor added, voice tight. Another human attack followed. A gravity pulse shook the battlefield. Huge Imperial cruisers were pulled together and crushed into each other like toys. Panic spread. Imperial lines collapse. Across the Helion sector, Imperial commanders shouted desperate orders. "Retreat! Reform the line! Shields failing! We cannot hold them!" Hundreds of Imperial ships exploded. Thousands fell silent. Soldiers cried out as their screens filled with static and flames. Within only 10 minutes, half of the Imperial Grand Fleet was gone. Admiral Vexor slammed his fist against his control table. "This cannot be. Humans should not be this strong." But the truth was clear. Humans had not come unprepared. They had come evolved. Human troops land. As the Imperial fleet fell back, human dropships launched toward the main Imperial world in the sector, Helion Prime. Vexor expected mass destruction. But something strange happened. Human soldiers landed with perfect discipline. They ignored civilians completely. They only targeted military bases, government centers, and weapon factories. A frightened Helion citizen watched from a window as a group of human soldiers passed by. One soldier looked at the child and nodded gently before moving on. The citizen whispered, shocked, They don't want to kill us." Word spread fast. Humans are attacking the Empire, but saving the people. The Empire realizes the truth. Back on Vexor's ship, Captain Lyra looked up from her screen. "Sir, reports say the humans are avoiding civilian casualties." Vexor stared at her. "That makes no sense." Lyra swallowed hard. "Unless They believe the Empire is guilty, not the people. Vexor didn't answer, because deep inside he feared she was right. The battle ends, but the war grows. Within 1 hour, the Helion sector was lost. The Empire's greatest fleet was broken. Humanity stood victorious. On her flagship, Eric Hale watched the map update as another Imperial region turned dark. "Prepare for Phase 2, she ordered. Her voice was calm, too calm, because she knew this was not the final battle. This was only the first. The real war was still coming. The Helion sector had fallen. Humanity now controlled one of the Empire's strongest defensive lines. Imperial officers across the galaxy felt the same slow, heavy fear rising in their hearts. Human technology was beyond anything the Empire had imagined. Their ships were stronger. Their shields were unbreakable. Their weapons ignored the laws of physics. But one thing worried the Empire even more. Humans were not killing civilians. They were targeting only government and military. That meant they weren't monsters. They had a purpose. And the Empire didn't know what that purpose truly was. A captured officer speaks. On Helion Prime, a group of human soldiers entered a damaged Imperial command bunker. Inside, they found a senior Imperial officer, Commander Rethan, wounded but alive. Human soldiers surrounded him. Their armor glowed with blue energy, but their weapons stayed lowered. Eric Hale herself entered the bunker. Rethan spat angrily. "Just kill me. That's what you came back for." Eric shook her head. "No, Commander. We don't kill without reason." Rethan laughed bitterly. "Don't pretend you're better than us. You're destroying the Empire." Eric looked him straight in the eyes. "The Empire destroyed us first." Rethan froze. "Is that what this is about? Old stories?" Eric stepped closer. "You think they are stories? You think your government told you the truth?" Rethan hesitated. Something in Eric's voice felt too real. Eric nodded to her soldiers. "Show him." A hologram activated footage of the old attacks on human colonies, the same evidence shown to the Imperial Senate. Rethan watched silently. At first, he denied it. Then his face twisted with confusion. Then anger. Then shame. "This can't be real," he whispered. "Why would the Empire erase this? Why would they hide it?" Eric's voice was calm. "Because an empire built on lies must protect those lies." Rethan closed his eyes, breathing hard. He was not a cruel man. He believed he served justice. He believed the Empire was righteous. But the truth was different. Very different. The secret history archive. Back on the capital world, the Imperial Senate faced a crisis. Citizens demanded answers about the human claims. Protests grew in the streets. Holoscreens showed people chanting, "Tell us the truth. What did the Empire do? Why are the humans angry?" Some senators pushed for peace. Others wanted total war. But the Emperor, Thaler, sat silent. In a hidden chamber beneath the Senate Hall, Emperor Thaler ordered his personal guards to bring a small metal box, the archive of forbidden history. Only 3 people had ever seen it. Thaler opened the box slowly. Inside were old documents, ancient hollow recordings, and a final order signed centuries ago. Documents about the human purge. About how early human colonies were rising quickly. How the Empire feared they would one day demand equal rights. How the Senate voted in secret. How the Empire decided humans were too dangerous to allow growth. The Emperor closed the box with trembling hands. One of his advisors asked, "What should we do, my lord?" Thaler whispered, "We cannot let the galaxy see this." But he already knew it was too late. Rebellion within the Empire. Across the Empire, soldiers and civilians began to question everything. Some military units refused to fight humans. Some worlds declared neutrality. Some even sent secret messages to the human fleet, offering help. Admiral Vexor was furious. "They are traitors," he roared. Captain Lyra shook her head slowly. "No, sir. They are scared, and they want the truth." Vexor clenched his teeth. Truth does not win wars. Strength does. But even he felt a crack forming inside him. Everything he believed, Empire honor, Empire justice, was now uncertain. Eric reveals humanity's purpose. On the human flagship, Eric Hale gathered her officers. Phase 2 is complete, one officer reported. Imperial defenses are breaking. Civilians are not resisting. Many are supporting us. Eric nodded. It was never about conquering the Empire, she said. Her officers listened closely. It was about exposing them. She turned toward the star map showing the Empire's capital glowing bright red. Now that the truth is spreading, we move to the final step. Her voice hardened. We strike the heart. We end the Empire's control. And we free the galaxy. The signal that shocked the Empire. Before the human fleet launched its next move, Eric sent a message to every screen in the Empire. Every city, every home, every soldier's helmet display. The hologram showed the ancient truth, real footage of the Empire's attacks on early human colonies, the orders of destruction, the erased history. The galaxy watched in horror. Citizens cried. Soldiers removed their helmets in shame. Governors demanded the Emperor step down. The Empire was breaking from the inside, because now everyone knew. The humans were right. The Empire was guilty, and the war was justice. The Emperor's last stand. When the broadcast ended, Emperor Thaler slammed his fist on the table. Enough, he roared. Prepare the royal fleet. Prepare the capital's defenses. I will not fall to humans or to truth. But deep in his eyes, fear shone bright, because he knew that next, humanity was coming for him, and nothing in the galaxy could stop them now. The great hall of the Imperial Council was silent. The 12 High Lords of the Galactic Empire sat around a long black table. Every face showed fear, even if they tried to hide it. None of them had ever felt fear like this before, because today every screen in the room showed the same thing. Humanity's fleet, thousands of ships, all moving with perfect formation, all moving toward the Imperial core world. High Lord Saraxis finally spoke. His voice was thin, as if he had aged 10 years in 1 hour. Reports confirm it. The humans have broken through the last defense lines. Nothing stopped them. Not the Pridonian Wall. Not the Cyrix shield net. Not even the Titan-class dreadnoughts. Another lord swallowed hard. How can a young species do this? They were primitive 100 years ago. They were nobody. The room turned cold. Everyone remembered the insult the Empire gave to Earth long ago, when humanity first asked to join the galactic community. The Empire laughed at them, called them weak, called them unimportant. And now the weak species had the strongest fleet the Empire had ever seen. Lord Vrex tapped the screen. A hologram of a human battleship appeared, HFV Crucible. Its hull glowed with blue-white energy. Its weapons looked like the jaws of a metal beast. This ship destroyed our entire Silax branch fleet, Vrex said. 37 Empire ships reduced to dust in minutes. Lord Kilia whispered, "This is impossible. No species grows this fast." But Lord Arvian, the oldest member, understood something the others did not. "It is fear," he said quietly. "Humans grow strong because they know fear. They push forward even while afraid. That is a power we never had." Then the doors suddenly opened. A messenger officer ran inside, breathing hard, his uniform shaking. "High Lords," he said, "we received a transmission from the human fleet." Everyone straightened. "What do they want?" Saraxis asked. The officer's voice cracked. "They want surrender." The council fell silent. For a moment, no one could breathe. Surrender," Lord Kilia repeated. "Humans want us to surrender to them?" The officer nodded. Their message was simple. One line. He pressed a button on his wristpad. A deep, calm human voice filled the room. "Empire of Stars, stand down. Humanity has come to end the war. We seek no destruction, unless you force us." The voice ended. The hall remained frozen. Lord Vrex slammed his fist on the table. "They dare? They think they can command the Empire? We ruled galaxies before they even reached their moon." But Saraxis shook his head. "You saw what they did to our fleets. If we fight them, our core world will burn." Another screen lit up. Red alarms flashed. Incoming message, human flagship. The council held their breath as the main holoscreen switched. A human admiral appeared, standing tall, wearing dark armored uniform, eyes sharp as steel. Behind him, the bridge of the flagship glowed with blue light and silent power. "I am Admiral Rowan Hayes, commander of the United Terran Fleet," he said. "We offer you one chance. End your rule of fear. End your cruelty. Or we will end it for you." The High Lords felt as if the air had disappeared. Rowan Hayes continued, "Your empire harmed many species. You destroyed planets without mercy. You called it order. We call it tyranny." His voice grew colder. "Humanity is here to free the galaxy, not conquer it. But if you try to resist, you will not survive." The message ended. Silence dropped like a heavy stone. The High Lords looked at each other, panic rising behind their eyes. "What do we do?" Lord Vrex whispered. No one answered, because for the first time in 10,000 years, the Empire was no longer the strongest power in the galaxy. Humanity was, and they were standing at the Empire's gates. The sky above the Imperial core world turned dark as the human fleet arrived. Giant shadows from thousands of ships covered the planet like a metal storm. Citizens of the Empire looked up in fear. Many had never seen a human before, but they knew one thing: this fleet could end their world in minutes. Inside the Imperial Palace, the High Lords stood in silence. Their pride, their arrogance, their ancient power, all felt small now. A warning alarm echoed through the hall. Human flagship requesting planetary landing. None of the lords wanted to answer. Finally, Lord Saraxis spoke in a weak voice. "Let them land." Moments later, 3 human dropships descended toward the palace courtyard. Engines roared. Dust rose in violent waves. Imperial guards raised their weapons but did not fire. They were too afraid. The dropships opened. Human soldiers stepped out in perfect formation, black armor shining, rifles humming with energy. Their calm discipline shook the Empire more than any weapon. Then Admiral Rowan Hayes walked forward. He did not carry a weapon. He did not wear a helmet. He walked with confidence, like someone who knew no one could stop him. The High Lords watched from the palace steps, their robes shaking. Admiral Hayes stopped a few meters away. "Empire of the Stars," he said, "this is your last chance. Do you choose peace or destruction?" Lord Vrex wanted to shout. He wanted to fight. But when he looked at the sky full of human warships, his voice died in his throat. Lord Arvian, the oldest, stepped forward. With a heavy breath, he lowered his head. "We surrender." The words echoed across the courtyard. For the first time in the Empire's long history, the High Lords bowed, not to a god, not to a conqueror, but to a species they once mocked. Admiral Hayes nodded slowly. "You made the right choice." Behind him, the human soldiers relaxed their stances. The tension in the courtyard dissolved a little, like a storm moving away. But Admiral Hayes wasn't finished. "Now listen," he said. "Humanity did not come to destroy your worlds. We came to stop your cruelty. We came to free every species you oppressed." The High Lords looked confused. "You don't want our empire?" Saraxis asked carefully. "Not your empire," Hayes said. "Only your peace." A long silence followed. It felt unreal that the most feared species in the galaxy had taken the Empire without firing a single shot on the capital. Above them, the human flagship sent a broadcast to all planets. "The war is over. The Empire has surrendered. Humanity stands for freedom." Across the galaxy, enslaved species cried with joy. Resistance fighters dropped their weapons in victory. Entire worlds celebrated as human ships brought food, medicine, and hope. Humanity became the symbol of strength mixed with compassion. And on the Imperial core world, Lord Arvian finally spoke. "Humanity, you are not like us. You are stronger, yes, but also kinder. Perhaps this galaxy needed you." Admiral Hayes looked at the sky, watching his fleet spread across the stars. "No," he said quietly. "The galaxy didn't need us. It needed someone brave enough to fight for others. This time it was humans. Next time, it may be someone else. As the sun rose behind him, its light touched the human ships drifting in orbit. The Empire had fallen. A new age had begun. And the galaxy would forever remember the day humanity arrived. Not as conquerors, but as guardians.